you. Sorry, I'm a bit late here. I am obsessing over my garden, which is a thing that I do fairly regularly. Sore, but okay. Oh, what are you sore from? Hi, Ember. Yes, hello. Hello, yes. Yes. So I'm streaming. Are you helping? Oh, you're just sniffing for your treats, aren't you? Good girl. I know, you were taking a nap, and then I moved around, and you stopped napping, and now I won't get a moment's peace. Ember, off. No, that's not for you. It's not for you. Nothing on the table is ever for you. You're in trouble. So, I do this thing every year where I obsess over my garden, and that's gone into overdrive. Like, I can't really start planting anything. I could maybe start onions indoors, but that's not really possible this year. So, instead, I'm just obsessing and buying my seeds and such, and I don't really need to buy seeds because I have too many. And this has gone sort of double because we're also renovating our house, starting soon, hopefully. Oh, sorry. We're also renovating our house, starting soon, but the insurance owes us, somewhere on the order of like 40 or 50 grand. So we're out tens of thousands of dollars for some initial plumbing that we had to pay for in an emergency in November. And because the insurance is still sorting out their shit, our original insurance adjuster, we think, got fired. So we have a new insurance adjuster now, and they're coming in to inspect our house. But I'm also living in a house that needs to be renovated, and it's really difficult to do some of the planning for that because we are waiting on opening up some walls to find out some stuff. So there's some aspects that I can't really do right now. So I've been spinning my wheels. And then the other thing is that our emergency plumbing also meant that I needed to dig up my front garden. So there's, and my neighbor is redoing hers at the same time. So we're coordinating. And I'm sitting here obsessing about plants. And not really feeling up to painting right now. So I figured that I would just grab a sketchbook and doodle some garden plants. That sounds like a lot of stress. Oh yeah, the Moderna vaccine really flattened me for a couple weeks. And then right after I got better, I got actual COVID. So I remain flattened. How's Charlie? Got Ember here. I guess I'll just move some of these away so it's not getting knocked over. And then puking and diarrhea. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. So he's asleep next to me. Oh, they're so cute when they're asleep. Ember was asleep until right before I started streaming. Now she's getting into trouble. I'll kick her outside eventually. Does Charlie snuggle? Ember didn't used to be very snuggly. She's gotten a lot better recently, where she's actually started snuggling. He's all legs now, though. They're so cute when they're gangly little teenagers. Well, he's just a little boy still. Ember's really, really skinny under all of the fluff. Like, she looks like actually a fairly substantial, chunky dog, but it's all fluff. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll just hang out here for a bit, and then, yeah, so I'm just gonna open up this sketchbook to a page, like this one. Here's a page. Oops, sorry. Rotate device, but I am rotated. That's my light. It's really difficult to tell. I'm not on my phone. My phone bricked itself, so I'm using my husband's phone for today, and then we're gonna have to we're gonna try to fix mine, and then if that doesn't work, then it'll have to be replaced. Okay, so first thing about seeds, seed organization. If there's any other gardeners here, I totally want to hear what other people's strategies for organizing their seeds is, because what I tried, so I have this, which is my Swatch Binder, where I've got these little like business card or I think they are business card holders in this case. Hi, Mikey. Today I'm talking about gardens and planning my garden for this coming year. I'm starting out with my seed organization, which is really, really poor right now. Hi, Mom. Today we're talking about gardens, but right now I'm talking about how poor my seed organization is. So this is my swatch binder for swatching watercolors. Like, I really like trying out dot cards and different watercolors. So these aren't all colors that I own, but whenever I can get my hands on a sample, I do swatch it and then sort them by pigment in these little business card holders inside this big binder. Now, this big binder came in a set of 2 or 3, I think. And I thought, oh, you know what would be great? I'll have one for my swatches, and I'll use another one for my seeds. And I went and I got that all set up last year, but I ran into a problem, and it is as follows. The worst thing is I started loading up the things before I even realized that there was a problem. The problem is this. Here are the inserts for the seeds. Actually, there's 2 problems. So the first one is, here are the inserts for the seeds, and if you line them up with the 3-ring binder, there are 3 holes, but they're not in the same place. So they're just loose. The other problem is they don't sit, like they don't hold the seeds very firmly. And then a lot of seed packages are actually a bit bigger. So then I have to fold them up to even fit. So it's kind of a mess. And at some point I just sort of gave up on it a little bit. I might have to get, I still think this would be kind of a neat idea, but I might switch to Yeah, so I think these are a little bit smaller than photo size. Maybe a photo album setup might be better. Like I thought I could sort by type of seed and sort them alphabetically, right? So like I have arugula here, and then basil, and then carrots. And I even got alphabetical tabs for this, for that purpose, but it doesn't work if I can't, whatever. This was the wrong implementation, and I got really frustrated, and at some point last year I just gave up. So a lot of my seeds aren't even in that. They're in this mess. Which of course doesn't help with my habit of getting obsessed with new different kinds of seeds and then over ordering. I'll order doubles or things that I already have like another version of. Like, you know, there's only so many, say, cabbages that I'm like realistically going to grow. So like I don't need 12 varieties of cabbages because I'm not going to grow that many cabbages. Now you can get zipper pouches for these things, and I think maybe that's a better idea, is if I have zipper pouches for each of the categories, so then like all of the packets go into a full-size zipper pouch. My only issue with that is I suspect that they'll start filling up really quickly because they'll all fall down to the bottom. But I haven't quite figured that out yet. Open to suggestions. The other thing I've considered maybe doing is using one of the, I don't really do well with closed storage. Like I need to see what I'm using, but if I have, say, a shallow drawer system, like the IKEA ones that have really shallow drawers, and I have them in dividers and I label the fronts with what's inside, then I can have the seed packets inside. The other issue is, I'll show this now. I'm only just starting out with seed saving, but eventually I'd like to be saving most of my own seeds, like find varieties that I like and then save seeds from that. These are Canicura Cosmos. And then obviously if I'm saving my own seeds, then I save a little bit more. And really, like, these paper packets aren't the best system for storing seeds. Like, it would be better to have them in jars or something, but then they don't go into whatever. This is my like problem right now. In terms of like keeping organized from year to year. I guess there's two kinds of gardeners in the world. There's people who I really admire, people who can just go to there's gardeners who garden because they want to produce food, and that's their main motivation. They're motivated by producing food, and they go to, and saving money, or, you know, having the certainty of what they're eating. They go to a regular hardware store, seed store, and they choose, you know, okay, I need a variety of spinach. They choose a variety of spinach. Hi. I need some peppers. They'll choose a variety or two of peppers, of tomatoes. They'll get some plant starts or some seed packets. They'll plant the things they have, and that's it. And then there's people like me, where I'm a bit of a magpie about my watercolor pigments, and I'm a bit of a magpie paper towel with no real labeling system. Yes. And then there's people like me who are just motivated by like getting interesting things or unique things. And so, hi everyone. We're talking about how bad I am at organizing seeds, because right now a lot of my seeds are in this state. because I tried to do the thing that I do with my, watercolor swatches, but I screwed it up. The seed packets don't fit properly in the sleeves. The sleeves don't fit properly in the binder. It's all very frustrating. Yes, well, we're trying to get all my mess together here too. And then, okay, so then the other issue is I don't actually know what's going to come up in my front yard in the spring. It's going to be a bit of a wild mystery surprise. So over the summer, I had a bunch of thefts in the garden and kind of gave up towards the end of the summer. I was just putting in like annuals, just trying to fill things in. And I lost track of like the initial plan, because throughout the summer I had some issues with people. One person, Craig A, he had a vanity license plate, stealing plants out of my garden, including some perennials. So already many of my perennials were missing. And then we had the way my garden was set up before, I have a teeny tiny little urban, okay, I do have a detached house. It does have property all around, but it's in a city. And it's really like one of the smallest detached house plots in the whole city. It's really not a lot of land. And in particular, we don't really have much of a backyard, because the street we live on is like a triangle. So there's a main street here, and then there's like a house at the corner, and then another couple houses here, and then we are the third house from the corner. So there's like, all the way down here, there's some houses where there's a house, and then there's a proper backyard, and another house and a proper backyard. But we don't really have much of a backyard. We have a little bit more of a front yard, and we have, basically it's just a long driveway, like a long strip along the side of our house. The previous owners didn't really like plants, so they paved the whole thing. They also put gravel in a raised bed in the front yard. So about 3 years ago, what we did was we put a raised bed over, like we have a retaining wall in the front. We put a raised bed tall raised bed over that retaining wall. And I was planting in here. And then I started getting greedy, and I started putting planters in front. And the whole thing was all planted out. And then last year I had some theft issues where things were getting stolen, both planters and the plants in front. All right, are we just gonna make vegetable puns this whole stream? Anyway, I had some theft issues, so I already didn't know exactly what was in my garden, because I kind of lost track. I had to keep on moving things around to like fill in areas. And then my plumbing blew up in November. Our main drain out of our house, so we live in a 100-year-old house with a 100-year-old drain. The main drain out of the house was clay and collapsed and flooded our basement. So we had to have emergency plumbers in, and one of the things that they had to do was dig up the drain from the house to where it goes to the street, right through the front yard. So we pulled up the raised bed, and they dug a big hole like right in the middle here. And this was in November, so there were like some perennial roots in there. And then I moved them, like we removed the sides of the raised bed. I tried to move some of the roots and perennials that I could see over to the sides or into other planters. But really not sure what I managed. Then they dug a big hole right through the middle, like out to the below the street level, like down to here, 8 feet down, dug out some of the gravel, and then threw all the dirt out to the sides. Then we flattened it out. So what's going to happen in my front yard is we're going to have to reshape it, but in the interim, what we have is going to be, like, I'm going to get random perennials coming up. I suspect that a bunch will have just died because, you know, not everything will survive its roots being tossed aside and upside down and whatever through the winter. But I suspect that some surprising things will come up, and they'll just come up in random places. That'll be fun. Yeah, so we are going to re-landscape the front yard along with all the other renovations that are happening. So I'm going to doodle a real rough diagram of what my home garden looks like. So I garden in 2 places. So the first one is I have a home garden, which is mostly in my front yard, but I also have raised beds that we've put in the side yard. By side yard, I do mean the driveway. Okay, so we have a little deck here, and then I've got a raised bed here on the side of the deck. Then we've got like a really awkward staircase comes over here down to the, is really bad. Anyway, so there's a little other bed down below. There's a little other bed over here, and then then we've got our property sort of goes like this. To over back to here or so. And there's some like weird shaping that came here that was like, this is all cinder block wall sort of that does this. There's a great big tree that grows here over top of all of this. Here, we'll just watercolor that. Where's my water jar? What did I do with my water jar? Did I eat it? This is so weird. It's like the one thing you would not expect to ever lose in this space. So strange. I always have a water jar here. Okay, I'll go find one. Anyway, we have a really quite a large linden tree in the front yard. But it's south facing, so even though there's a tree overhead, it's actually full sun at the front of the yard. Even with a tree like directly overhead, which is pretty neat. Because Our sun angle is, you know, not directly overhead, what with living in Canada. So let's throw some more of this in here. That's a little too bright. A little bit more of this one. A little bit here. So even though there's a tree overhead, that means that like the house starts so about here. Which means so this bed at the very back is in full shade in the summer. In the winter it gets sun. So we have some early spring stuff that come up before the tree fills out. And it's like a pretty thick canopy too. So and yeah, let's get some. Not sure why I'm watercolor or doodling this. I guess it is a watercolor channel, so makes sense. Not really a gardening channel. I'm sure you don't mind. As goes, we had a couple of years where we forgot things or just wanted to see what came back in box. A good idea for Patreon once you resume. That would be a good idea for Patreon once I resume. Thank you. Yes. And yes, this is one of the new brushes. This is my size 5. Series 22. And it is lovely. Now, is it worth the money? I don't know, but it's lovely and I like it a lot. Okay, so yeah, this is like mostly south. So south-ish. And then we had a big planter along here. Not quite all that way there. And then I started filling in like all the edges around here and all the edges around here and stretching back. It's actually longer than that. Whatever. So that's my front yard. I have some shade stuff in here. I have some stuff under the tree. And then I had a planter. And what we're going to do, sorry, I am going to stretch this out to where it actually goes. Because this is driving me crazy. It's not that long and short. Whatever. Something like that. And there. And then the planter was, I guess, more like this. What I'm going to do is steal some of the cinder block from the front, excavate some of the gravel, and then do some kind of shaped thing, rejoining this here. So yeah, we're like something. So along the very front, we can have some short plants. So I've ordered some strawberries. We already have strawberries in the back, but we have June-bearing strawberries. So I got 2 kinds of everbearing strawberries. So everbearing strawberries. And I think I've got 50 bare roots, which I can put in here. There's a few other places I can put them. Also, potentially some other things interspersed in between the strawberries. I want to get some chives of a heavy flowering variety. But I'm probably going to get those as plant starts. Just because I want a variety that's very heavy on the flower. And so I can get regular chives, but I think I'm going to get starts. Along the front couple rows, I also want to put some Agastache, which is, there's a native variety, Anise hyssop, which I've got in the very front, like in the boulevard in front of this, like there's a sidewalk and then there's a boulevard. But last year I started experimenting with some smaller cultivars. They're usually based on more southern species, but some of them have some really nice scents and some of them are much shorter and have pink and orange blooms. So I'm gonna get some of that. And then so that's first row. And then second row back. So like planning a bed, if I have the sun beating down over here, right? I want taller things in the back. And like keep in mind this is like 25 feet, maybe? And so in meters, that is, gosh, I can do math, like 7 or 8. It is a flower and a herb. Like it flowers, it's pretty, but it can also be used in tea. And it smells sort of rosy, and it tastes sort of minty rosy. If south is down, then the sun is shining from north-northeast. Sorry. The sun is shining from the south. The sun is shining, like, if you were looking at, this is my property, right? The sun is up here shining down this way from the south. So south is this way, and the sun is shining down this way. In the winter, it's at a 48 degree angle. And in the summer, it's closer to overhead, but it still comes in from the south. So my house is on the north side of my property, facing south-ish. All of the streets in my city aren't quite aligned to anything, so that's just the closest. The tree shadows are wrong. Yes, the tree shadows are very wrong. Sorry, do I need to fix the tree shadows? Are they bothering you? I'll fix the tree shadows so that they're not bothering you as much. They're also on the wrong part of the tree, but you know, whatever. Yes, this part of the property over here gets the most sun. Okay, so that's maybe the first row. Second row. So, right. So this is my front yard. I also garden in the sidewalk strip in front of my front yard and like the boulevard strip. And then in the side garden, actually there's a few things. This then ends up over here. Our house extends to maybe here. We've got a strip along here where I've got some raspberries mostly. So I've got some raspberries along here that have been slow taking off, but I imagine once they get going, they'll really go crazy. And then I'm trying to plant some stuff in front of the raspberries to sort of block them. So something deep rooted and like fairly dense to keep the raspberries from invading the neighbor's yard, because over here is the neighbor's. They're really nice, but you know, this is really their yard, even though it's my property. Then back here, I've got a back garden, right? So this is a big driveway, and I've built some raised beds. They're not this far forward, but I am going to draw them this far forward in here, where I'm adding in a little arbor to enter, but we've got some tall raised beds along the side of our house. Then we've got a side door back here, and then we're going to put more of them up here. And there's a tiny, tiny bit at the very back of the house, but that's all perennials and already settled in. No, it's fine. I couldn't leave the tree shadows all wrong once you pointed it out. Even though like I knew when I was doing them, like, oh, that's not right, but like I managed to ignore it as long as it was just me, but as soon as someone else noticed. Damn it! Yes, they're wrong. These tree shadows are wrong. Yeah, so like this area gets 0 sun. In the summer, when the tree is in bloom. I think everything gets sun at some point of the year, except like right at the base of the tree trunk behind it. Anyway, yeah, so that's my house. And then last year I got a large community garden plot down the street. So I also have a 6-foot, which is about 2 meters by, it's just under 2 meters, by 30 foot, about 10 meters plot at a community garden. And so I used to try to cram every vegetable into my front yard and side yard because I really like producing things that I can eat. Even though it's not like it's not really, I'm not doing it for money, to save money or anything. Like I buy ridiculous varieties, but I really wanted edible stuff. Now that I have a community garden, which is huge, like this is not to scale. These two are not to scale with each other. I can plant a lot more of my annual vegetables in here, and I'm a little bit more interested in putting more perennials and prettier things in my home garden, just because it's my front yard. Anyway, so this has turned into sort of like, it is edible. I do plant peppers, I plant eggplants, plant all sorts of stuff in here. But I also, like, I'm interspersing a lot of perennials, a lot of herbs, making it sort of like a tea garden, I guess, with, like, they're yeah, a little bit more focus on pretty things. Although, again, like, I also just like getting interesting, pretty varieties, even if I am just going to be growing vegetables. So the second row in here, I'm probably going to do some peppers. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do my sweet peppers or my hot peppers here or the community garden. I do kind of want to do one of them mostly sweet peppers, one of them mostly hot peppers, because of cross-pollination. So because I'm trying to save seeds, if I have sweet peppers right beside hot peppers, like I kind of want to save seeds that are well adapted, save seeds from the best varieties that did the best. So I'm trying out a bunch of different varieties, and to some extent I'm happy if they mix, but I don't want my saved, like I don't want, you know, to be like, oh, this was a really nice bell pepper, and save some bell pepper seeds, and then the next year I have something that was crossed with a scorpion pepper and it's really hot. My moss garden in the shadow is super happy, and on the side of pale green, Hubert took over and does well, but it hasn't gotten big like the others which took over. Yeah. So in the second row, I will have peppers, eggplants, bee balm. What else? I went a little crazy. Part of what I'm trying to do today is that there's a couple more seed companies that I've been eyeing that I kind of want to order from, but I know that I have too many seeds. So like sometimes I just need to plan out where all my seeds are going and realize that I don't even have space for all the things that I already want to plant, so I don't buy more. So just wanted to, found this company. They're in the US, but they had some like really, really interesting varieties. So a small moss garden seems like a good idea. All you need is a microscope. That's a good idea for botanical drawings. Yeah, so definitely under the tree is gonna have some mosses. I'm also gonna start, so I'm gonna get wood chips. You can hear the hydro company will deliver free wood chips, like by the truckload. So I'm gonna fill up, mulch it all with mulch the front yard everywhere that's not a garden bed with wood chip paths. And then put some mycelium for King Stropharia mushrooms in there so I can grow some mushrooms. Anyway, this company is in the US. Generally, I like looking for Canadian or local companies. These ones are like in the Northeast, so at least they're close. But they are American. On the other hand, they had such interesting varieties. And that's my crack. So lemon winter savory, which is winter savory but lemon flavored, which seems really cool. So I'm gonna winter sow this like in the next few days. This is basil. I'm really obsessed with basil, but I am getting to the point where like every year I grow a bunch of different basil, and it's getting to the point where like I know what basil I like, and it's basically like I just want most of my basil to be the one variety. Where did it go? Where's my basil? Where's my basil? There it is. Persian basil. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good that last year I got a bulk pack. And it's silly because again, I could save seed, but I'm happy to just use this basil for everything. So I've got like lime basil, lemon basil, Italian basil. I keep buying other basils, but like realistically Thai basil. I'll just use Persian basil like most of the time. I love basil, but I just really, really love the one variety. Then they've got like interesting things like plantain. Not plantain like the banana, but plantain like the green. Some alpine strawberries, which I figured I would love to grow basil, but I don't like to eat it. I've seen that seed companies terrarium bee inspired so many creatures going on are having a lot of problems in buying envelopes. I had no idea. I got mostly strawberries as root starts, like they're bare root. They come really early in the spring. You bury them in the ground, and they're pretty cheap. And then that avoids having to start strawberries from seed. But I did get a few varieties of like interesting strawberries, just because why not? I've never heard of this before. Sea fennel. Tolerates drought and saline soils. So I might try that in my boulevard strip because I live in Canada, it gets really salty in there. I love basil. I will eat basil all day, every day. In the summer, I'll just go out into the garden. I get like the little tubs of bocconcini, the like soft mozzarella, like fresh cheese balls, or like the buffalo ones, and just drain that and throw in. I'll just like go into the garden, and so usually they come in a brine. You drain out the brine, and then you've got most of the container free. I go out into the garden and I load up with cherry tomatoes, like fresh cherry tomatoes and basil. Toss it with a little bit of salt. So good. So good. Sometimes I'll throw in a little bit of balsamic vinegar, but it's not even necessary. It's just so yummy. I also make pesto, all kinds of pesto with basil, with various nuts and seeds, with other greens. This is one of those, like, I just like trying really interesting herbs. So Popolo, which is citrus marigold flavor. Fascinating. The red one was really interesting. Yeah. Pesto, and I ate until I was turning green, and apart from it, I still can't eat it. So this is a chard variety. It's supposed to be really taste a lot nicer than regular Swiss chard, which is unfortunate because I really like the bright, colorful Swiss chard. Like, but you know, whatever. Taste wins sometimes, occasionally. This is another strawberry, like rare strawberry. So I'm gonna try that. So this is like an edible ornamental thing that I'm gonna try somewhere. It looks really cool. I don't know if it's tasty, but it looks really cool. My citrus flavored things obsession, lemon coriander. I've had this before. It's hard to get my hands on this variety. I'm gonna have to save seeds. So I think I'm probably gonna do this in a large container far away from any other cilantro so that I can get myself a big stash of these seeds. They're so good though. So good. This, I don't even know. I have no idea where I'm going to buy this or sorry, where I'm going to plant this because like there's only so much room. Might have to start planting things along my fence line. Golden purslane, which is like, it's a cold hardy green. So this isn't even so much for right now. But I sow things either in the very early spring in some cases, or I've actually sown things in the fall that are going to come up in the spring in the main garden, so we'll see how that works. This looks really cool. It's like this really curly, it's like sort of like the Asian broccoli that's like very leafy, where it's grown for the leaves as well as the little florets, but it's like crazy leaves. They're like curly and weird. I love them. Well, okay, so this one, the lemon coriander, it's also grown like primarily for like the leaves are fine, they're good. They're a little bit lemony, but the seeds are like they're the preferred seed variety because the seeds have a nicer flavor. So if you're using the seed as a spice rather than whatever. I have had mixed results with cilantro and coriander. Sometimes it does really well, sometimes it does really poorly. Again, this is going to be another like winter thing, so it's not really like part of the summer garden planning. Sorrel is a sorry, I guess I should be sorting these. So okay, so these are going to be mostly like winter stuff that doesn't need to get so involved in the summer garden. This is also winter stuff. Wasabina mustard, a bunch of varieties of mustard. To be honest, I just grow a bunch of them, mix it all together. This is another lemon scented thing. Like I've been kind of obsessed with lemon scented things. Lemon dragon head. which is kind of an invasive weed here, but not the lemon variety. This one's not for me, it's for my neighbor. I don't have the space for willow herb. Or what's it called? What's the other name for it? I'm forgetting what the other name for it is. It's really cool. It does fireweed. It does, it tends to come up after fire. So my next door neighbor used to have a big maple tree in her yard. And also it's her dad's property, but he had a stroke. So it's his daughter taking care of the property now, and taking care of him. She's in her early 20s and wants to redo her garden as like a vegetable plus native plants garden. There used to be a big maple tree right in the middle of it, and it's been cut down. So they have this giant raised flat all grass lawn that she wants to redo. And I'm growing some stuff for her. Like we talked about this, but also like I'm obsessed with things that I can't grow. So I'm growing those for her. Lettuce. Again, lettuce is one of these things where more lettuce. Lettuce is one of these things where I grow a bunch of different varieties. I'm not particularly attached to anything in particular. Winter radish. And most melons are really cute. I grow them every year. I was out of seeds. Mulatto pepper. Now this is interesting. They're hotter and sweeter than Ancho Poblano. We shall see if I can even grow it. Like the problem is Poblanos won't ripen in my climate. Musk basil. Again, we're back on the basil that, like, I'm gonna try it, but when it comes down to, here's another basil, like I keep looking at basils and like, ooh, that looks cool, but really, realistically, I always like the same basil, so I don't know why I do this. Another variety of strawberries. So that's those. All the good people. Paolo. Seriously. I'm gonna ban you. Ooh, beetroot. Let's talk about beetroot. I love beetroot too. Let's, oh, those are my snow peas. An entire bag of beetroot somewhere. Radishes. Where's my beetroot bag? Help? Okay, I don't know what I did with my bag of beetroot. Okay, so eggplants. Eggplants are an interesting thing. I don't think I need to buy more eggplants. I was going to, oh, I was so excited about this one last year. Let's see how many seeds I have left. I was so excited about this one last year. I grew up a bunch of them. I gave a bunch of seedlings away because I had so many. And then all of my Chinese string eggplant seedlings got stolen. Like all of the plants got stolen before I ever got to try the fruit. Okay, I do have enough seeds in here. So I don't need to buy more. Baker Creek was one of the places that I was debating whether to order from. They used to have free shipping to Canada, which was awesome, but they no longer have free shipping to Canada. It's $12 American shipping to Canada, which means that I either need to pay that absurd shipping cost or like get it shipped to someone in the States and then forward it to me, which still costs money. So I don't think that I'm going to get Chinese. I think I'm just going to use these this year. Rosita Eggplant is one that I've grown for a few years that makes like these really bright pink round eggplants. They're kind of neat. This one's from Revival Seeds, and then I have a couple others. A striped one and little fingers. But that was a thing. There were also a couple more varieties of eggplant on Baker Creek that looked really interesting. The other thing at Baker Creek that looked really interesting was, I didn't grow these last year, but they have a whole bunch of new agastache varieties that look really cool, and they're from seed, which would save me the trouble of getting them as starter plants. Like, there are other places I can get them as plants, but I haven't seen them too many places as seed. Here's my old package of Persian Basil. I love rapini. That goes in my, starting in the spring maybe, pile. What else? Oh, I'm going crazy on beans, particularly pole beans this year. So this is a green bean. I really like green beans. I'm kind of obsessed with them. This is my usual. I like them because they're purple. To be honest, I think that green beans taste better, but I really like how the purple ones look on the plant, so. Alas. Ooh, Bog Labrador tea. That's in my winter sowing set. I really, really wanted to. I've been meaning to start this. I've had this packet for like 3 years and I never started in time. Beets. Touchstone Gold. I ended up getting Touchstone Gold in this year's order from Hawthorne Farm, which is it's like one of the most local to me farms. Because what I really wanted was Badger Flame beets, but they're not available anywhere that I really needed anything else from. So I have a few, not enough for a year's supply of beets, but I have a few of those, and I don't know, I might try to save some seed. Peppers. Okay, well, what else? Let's finish up with the beans. Is it Adaptive Seed that I got a bunch of beans from? Yeah. Sorry, I'm using my husband's phone because my phone died. So sorry. So then I got cowpeas and Perry beans, which are like different species of beans. Oh look, more cilantro. Yummy. This one's just for leaves though. And dill and chamomile. parsley root. I don't know why I got parsley root. Ooh, Thai lemon basil. More lemon stuff. Sense a pattern? Yeah, I need to sort these out better. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. Oh, right. That's the other thing that goes in the very front row of my garden is these guys. These are my own saved seeds, but I have marigolds, tangerine gem, and Queen Sophia as well somewhere. Oh, look, Savoy cabbage. What am I going to do with Savoy cabbage? I don't know. Something. In here. Fill the rest with remaining with carrots and strawberries. Yes, but what kind of carrots? That's the thing, right? Like you can go down some really, really weird roads this way. Like here's my okay, carrots, I'm actually pretty basic about my carrots. I do like I get some small orange varieties and then I get these large red varieties because I don't know, they make me happy. But like I always end up like, oh, but wouldn't a purple carrot be cool? Like, yeah, the purple carrots are cool, but they bleed purple everywhere. And if you try to make soup with them, you end up with like purple blue soup, which is really weird. And like kind of off-putting. So I'm pretty basic about my carrots, but like definitely there are many, many varieties of everything. Oh, here it is. Here's my beets. Yeah, so I got Badger Flame beets last year from Row 7 Seeds, which is like this absurdly overpriced thing, but I've only got a few left. Okay, I actually have a few left. But beets, like every one of these things makes a beet. Every one of the seeds makes a beet, so like you go through them, right? It's not like tomatoes, one seed gets you a lot of tomatoes. I've also got Golden Grex beet, which is more golden beets, and Touchstone. Okay, so that's enough golden beets. I need to stop with obsessing over the Badger Flames. But the Badger Flame beets are really nice. They're really nice. They're like, they're golden, and then they have like orangey rings in them, and they are nice and sweet. Oh, they're really nice. I really, really like them. Their flavor's really nice. They look really pretty. A couple of years back, I got some round carrots. They're perfect for all kinds of things. I think they're often called Globe or Paris Market carrots, if you want the really round ones. I have some of those in my carrot selection. Cabbage here. So I really like this Calibos cabbage, and of course this is something that I got from 2 different places. Derp. But it's like this pointed purple one. And one of the places I got it from a couple years ago was Fruition Seeds. But Fruition Seeds this year, oh man, they're a place that I've been like trying to stop myself from buying from this year, because I don't need more seeds. Like obviously I have enough seeds. I need corn, but like I can get corn at the local hardware store, right? Like I don't need to buy more seeds. But they have a version that's Calibos mixed with a pointed green one. So it's like, they call them mermaid cabbage. And it's beautiful. It's like pink and green and it's so pretty. And I want it, but it doesn't make sense for me to buy it. So alas. Yeah. I'm obsessed with arugula, so I just end up buying it everywhere, which is silly. You don't need this much. Why do I have a loose Thai basil hanging around? Yeah, so it's like the Parisian carrot often. Here, look, more atomic red. I really like red carrots. And little fingers carrots. Like, so I'll do like a few small varieties of orange carrots, like the Parisian and little fingers. And then I really like the red. So I get red carrots. Cucumbers. Man, I mean, I think there's straight 8s that have grown really well for me in the past, but I don't really like straight 8 cucumbers. Like they have a sort of bitter thing going, so I've been trying to find a different kind of cucumbers that grow as well as the straight 8s in my, yeah, it's straight 8. So I have this, oops, silver slicer over there. I have a straight 8 over here. So the straight 8 cucumbers grow really, really well for me, but they are not my favorite cucumber. So I've been trying to find some other varieties of cucumbers that will grow as well as the straight 8s, but yeah. Okay, sweet peppers are a whole other thing too that I've been obsessing over. Sweet peppers were just a revelation for me. They grow really, really, really well in my garden. I have not the longest season in the world, but we do have like a really warm, really sort of hot, humid summer. So, I always thought that peppers were a thing that like just wouldn't grow in my climate. And then a few years ago, I grew peppers and they grew really well. So that was surprising. And since then, I've been trying a bunch of different pepper varieties. And I think I'd like to start, you know, grow a few that do really well for me and then start saving seeds. And end up with like 2 or 3 land races that are specific to me, that grow really well for me and that suit my taste. So I've actually already gone through my peppers and culled out some of the ones that I didn't like as much last year, and some new things to try. So Etuda was my favorite last year. This is like an orange bell pepper. I got it from Baker Creek last year, but I got it from Adaptive Seeds this time. It's a commercial Polish variety, but they come up really, really early, and are pretty productive, and they make really thick walled, like really juicy, sweet orange peppers. Lesia was another big hit. This is the old package. There's only a few seeds left here. but I don't think I'm gonna go buy more from Baker Creek this year. Pippin's Golden Honey was also really nice, although it's very thin, but it's a really pretty plant. I didn't end up trying the collage last year because I had too many, but it looks really pretty. The Dough Hill I'm torn on. I didn't really love it, but it did produce well. Renegade Red is new this year for me. Habanada is new this year for me. The Jimmy Nardello, I've grown before, and I grew it for 2 years, and I was not a fan, but I think I must have been doing something wrong because it was not sweet when I grew it. So either the seeds I had weren't the best, or it had been crossed or something, or I did something weird in how I planted it. But it gets rave reviews, and then I was looking into it, like what's it supposed to taste like, and it's supposed to be really sweet. So I'm gonna try it again. And then I also got this Shepherd's Ram's Horn, which some of the local gardeners say that this strain is like the most productive pepper here. So that's my sweet peppers. Probably most of them. There's like probably another sweet pepper or 3 like hiding in here somewhere that I've forgotten. You see my problem, right? Like this needs to be better organized. Cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes bring up another problem, which is the cherry tomatoes. So for most of my seeds, I use heirloom varieties, which they're stable. Like an heirloom variety, if you grow a row of, say, Ukrainian purple tomatoes, and you save the seeds and you grow them again next year, assuming that they didn't cross with some other tomato, they will create the same, like the next year, they'll create basically the same type of tomato. You can also get hybrid tomatoes, which are 2 varieties of tomatoes that have been crossed already. But if you save seeds from them and plant them the next year, you will get a tomato, but it will be different. So I have Sweet Millions because they're my mother-in-law's favorite tomato. So I start her seeds for her. My favorite cherry tomato is Sun Gold, and I'm out. And Sun Gold is another hybrid, which means that it's not available from all the same places that save seeds to sell. So I have to buy it from a different sort of store. And I don't have it. So I don't know. I need to get my hands on some Sun Gold, I think. But other than that, that's probably between that and like some of the other, I think there's probably another cherry tomato or 2 in there. And then for my full-size tomatoes, I really like these dark varieties of tomatoes. And this is a pointy, like a paste tomato that's like really long and pointy and crazy and really tasty. And then I don't think I've tried, I think German Stripe is new this year, but everything else I've grown before. These are old seeds from last year that I'll grow again. I think I'm pretty happy with my tomato selection, other than I don't have Sun Gold. Collards. I'm obsessed with collards, but I should never buy collards or kale ever again because I have too much. Blue collards are fun. this is new this year. They're the glossy collards. And then other collards. Broccoli. This is just like regular broccoli. And purple peacock broccoli is my obsession, and I have like 3 packets of it floating around. It looks wild. It's like purple, and it's got spiky leaves, and it looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss. It's amazing. And tasty. Nasturtiums. I obsess over nasturtiums, but realistically I don't ever need to buy nasturtiums ever again. I actually started saving nasturtium seeds this year and then realized that I already had so many that there's no reason for me to save nasturtium seeds. I have these Phoenix nasturtiums as well as a tall single mix, and I also have I really like the climbing nasturtiums, so I also have these, which are a little bit harder to get, that have the marbled foliage. I have enough nasturtiums. I don't need to buy no more nasturtiums. Cosmos, these are short orange cosmos. I also have the tall orange cosmos, the Kenny Kuras cosmos, which I saved seeds for. Mustards, which I grow in the cooler shoulder seasons. And again, I'll sow these for salads and baby greens, so I go through a lot. So it's not like, yes, I have a whole bunch of different varieties. These ones are for mustard bulbs, which is a bit different, which I haven't done yet. But that. Summer squash. To be honest, I don't even like zucchini that much, but they grow so well and are so productive that I make myself eat them. Dima hybrid is my current. This is a hybrid version, but it produces in, look at this, 35 days. From seed to you're picking zucchini. It's absurd. Radish. And then here's one of my hot pepper sheets. I feel like I skimmed past another one earlier. Somewhere? Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these because I also bought more hot peppers on top of the ones that I already had. So there's this, which is a Brazilian variety that I really like. Pekins I really like. Sugar Rush Peach I really like. These ones are yellow and pointy, and I like them. Ahichara Pita, yeah, like all of these. I don't think I've tried. This isn't gonna grow in my climate. I don't know why I bought it, because I'm silly. This one got stolen last year, as did this one. And Ancho Poblano, I have tried repeatedly. They will not grow in my climate. So, downsides. Anyway, Paulo, or was it Gabor, who thought, like, how do you end up with this many seeds? I just grow the same thing. Well, this is how it's, because it's not like different varieties. It's like different versions of the same thing more often than not. Like, there's this. Why do I have this? It's like, functionally, it's the same as this one. But, you know, I wanted to try a different variety or something, and I get carried away. I forget what I've got, because it's all in a big heap. And actually the other one that's like basically a double. Where's Bellingcraft Gardens? More lettuces. So many lettuces. Why do I have so much lettuce? Nobody will eat this much lettuce. That's absurd. Look, more lettuce. Nobody eats this much lettuce. There's stuff like this, like jigsaw peppers, which are like, I got them because they look really cool, but they're not the tastiest thing in the world, so. The exception to the things that look really cool, I really like the taste and the look of fish peppers. They're lovely. Ancho are lovely, but same issue here. Yeah, like they need so much time and heat that I just don't have in my climate, that it's just not gonna work. Okay, so here's my crazy lettuce thing. Oh, and yeah. So then I have, let's start putting away some lettuces. Like this is insane, insane, insane. I need a better organization system. I need an organization system, not a better one. But yeah, like here's some lettuce I had before, and then I don't know, I was buying some, I think I got, these were from last year. I didn't even get them this year. But of course didn't use them last year because I already had too much. Like even growing, I grow lettuce both as baby lettuce and as full size. Like I'm still not going to use all of this. What else is there? I really want more sorrel. Like I like sorrel, but there's only so much sorrel one person can use. And it's perennial, so there's, I don't know. I just like, I guess I wanted to try all the different varieties. Okay, there's a specific pepper that I just tripped across while looking at something else that I wanted to. Look, more sorrel. Why do I have so many sorrels? Red carrots remind me of transparent pyrrole orange. Sorry, I've like missed a whole bunch of this. Chat, yes. Yes, yes, yes. There's a festival where people throw Brussels sprouts at each other, perfect use, even if it is wasteful. I have a lot of family who are kind of obsessed with Brussels sprouts, and like I don't hate them. They take up so much room in the garden and they take so long to grow that I find it difficult to justify. Like, as much as I like so many different kinds of, oh look, continuing my lemon obsession. Ooh, lemon bee balm, but I don't think I have that much. Yeah, oh, I'm gonna need to get more of this because I barely have any. But luckily this is available everywhere, so I don't, it's not gonna be a difficult thing to refill. Most bee balms are perennial, but these ones aren't perennial in my climate. Now, sometimes they will self-seed, but I really doubt it given, I really doubt they will this year because of how kind of awful my, like how everything got turned over in the front yard, so. Also in my vein of kale and collards that I definitely don't need more of, Dazzling Blue Kale is really, really amazing, and I love it. And I might have two different, no, I do only have one. But it's Dinosaur Kale. It's lacinato, but it has a blue midrib, and it's amazing and tasty and delicious, and yeah. Oh, Hungarian black pepper. See, I'm so disorganized. It's driving me bonkers finding anything in this mess. I like these instead of jalapenos because they're tastier and prettier. So that's, I mean, like, this is how I justify some of these purchases, is that, like, over time I have found some varieties that are, like, definitely better. They're just better. Here's lemon catnip, because I have lemon flavored herbs of every kind, apparently. Here, this is what I was looking for in my hot peppers. This is like a Pekin type pepper, so it's like these little bird peppers. They're tiny. They're like a nice hot pepper that we use for making like chili powder. But these ones have like crazy colored foliage. It's all like mottled and crazy, so I use it as an ornamental. So I think if I do my front yard with the hot peppers, then that'll be great, and I can just use that. I have limited room for things like melons, but I do want to grow some. So, oh, here's more crazy herbs. Crazy herbs and green pepper basil. What's a green pepper basil? I don't know. Gotta try it. Bee balm equals lemon balm equals borage. No equals no equals no. Bee balm is a Monarda species. There are other names for it, like wild bergamot would be the other name for it. Lemon balm is a different herb. And borage is not even in the mint family. It's something completely unrelated. They are all different. Yeah. She needs to go outside. Can you take her, Jordan? Oh, and look, I've got 2 of the black Hungarian hot pepper because, of course, I do. Also, look, deep purple tomatillo. Do I even like tomatillos? I don't know, but this one's deep purple. Squash. Squash is interesting. I have this bush delicata, although I do have a different kind of delicata on order, as well as these Algonquin pumpkins that didn't survive the last year, but they're a local, like, threatened, very, very old heirloom. So borage I don't plant. Like, I do still have some seeds for borage, but borage just comes up in my garden because I planted it a few years ago. Sorry. To describe different flavors and looks of these different plants. Bee balm is mostly a flower. It is delicious in tea, but it's mostly a flower. It's like this crazy, it's got this crazy, I mean, this is the lemon one, which has like these layered flowers, but it's mostly a flower. It is grown mostly as an ornamental. It is actually delicious in tea. It's a great herb, but it's a flower that's native to Canada. Lemon balm is more similar to catnip, and they're both mint. They're like both bee balm and lemon balm are mint related species, along with rosemary and sage and whatever. Lemon balm is yeah, it's like it's got leaves that look sort of like mint. It spreads similar to mint. They like a little bit thicker leaves and a little bit fuzzy. But it tastes sort of lemony, but in a sort of cleaning product sort of way, most of them. Now, there are other varieties of lemon balm, like lime balm and mandarin balm and citronella balm, and that have like a somewhat different taste profile. But it's a lemony mint sort of thing. And then, sorry, the last one was borage. Borage tastes like cucumbers and is related to lungwort and such like. Okay, and then I've got, I guess, a few more tomato things that didn't make it into the other tomato. Yeah, all right, so I do have some other tomatoes that didn't make it into my little tomato page. Sam Hubert Mennonite tomato, which is supposed to just be really productive in this area. Paul Robeson, because I really like dark tomatoes, so I got that. And the other one like that is this one. Carpenter Book. I actually already have this tomato, but I used up most of my seeds. And it's available from like 2 places in the world, and so I was ordering from the second place and chose to get a second package. Rosellas, again, it's a dark tomato. And then I don't know why I have these. have enough space for these things. This is ridiculous. Yep. Sorry. These are peppers. Melons. Melons. No, muskmelons. Muskmelons are something else. I think that's all I have for melons. No, can't be. I've got to have something else. There's no way I only have 2 kinds of melons. Of course, I only have space to grow 2 kinds of melons, so like 2 kinds of melons would be perfectly reasonable, except here. Here's the 3rd one. And here's my borage package, and like this borage package I got like 3 years ago, and I have not replanted borage. It just comes up in my garden. It's a weed. I have peas. Again, I just have like a few basic varieties. I'm not terribly fussy about my peas. Here's my original package of orange gem marigolds, but I have my own seeds now that I've saved. Yeah, I think that's about it. I just need to sort the rest of this. Oh, here's the other thing. My other obsession is okra. Okra should grow well in my climate, provided I start it indoors and don't rush moving it out. So I have a cold climate in the winter and a very, very hot summer, and the hot summer is long enough that I should be able to grow okra well. Plenty of people do, including in the community garden. There's some Middle Eastern people in neighboring plots to mine that fill their plot with okra, and it does really well. And for the past 2 years, I've rushed it in the winter. Like, I've rushed it in the spring where it's like, oh, the ground is warm. It's fine, I'll put out the okra. And then I stunt my okra. Or I think I tried to direct seed it one year, and then we had a lot of cold and rain. And then the second year I did start it indoors, but put it out too early. So I have a few different varieties of okra, and my goal this year is to be patient, not move okra out until June. And if I don't move okra out until June, I believe I should be able to grow okra. And I'll grow a mix of different, like this is already a landrace, so it's got a whole bunch of different types. And then jambalaya is a dwarf variety. Burmese is semi-dwarf, and Jing orange is orange. Grow a bunch of different varieties and save seeds from the prettiest, most productive plants so that I will develop my own variety of okra that grows really well here. And my obsession with okra is not because I grew up eating a lot of okra. Like, I know that it's a bit of an acquired taste. I do enjoy okra, but it's my favorite vegetable, not because of its flavor, but because it is such a cool plant. So that's the botanical artist in me. They had a slight honey taste. Yeah, the borage, they have like a sort of like honey, cucumbery. Okra has beautiful flowers. It's like beautiful hibiscus flowers. There's like crazy leaves, and it's a beautiful plant. It's a beautiful plant, and it's like so ornamental. And because it's not super common here, because it's a cold climate, right? So like we have a very limited, it grows just fine, but you have to be really careful about when you plant it out. So there's not like a big history of eating okra here. So it's like, it's the sort of thing where you plant it out and people don't recognize it. Like, what is that? That's a crazy plant. That looks so cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other thing about these seeds is like, this is about 4 years worth of seeds. So like, as much as I've gone overboard every year in 4 years, it's not, you know, you buy a seed packet and in most cases, you're not going to use up a full seed packet in a year. So it's taken me 4 years to reach this level of excess. And I am going to feel better about that. Yeah, so then I have some cabbages, winter cabbages, summer cabbages. Gabor, I know that you don't like cabbage, but you know, deal with it. This is like one of the few flowers that I've got that's not native nor edible, really. I'm really excited about this. It is edible, not native. Beautiful. Yeah, that's about it, I think. That's about all my seeds, and yeah, I'm gonna try to organize this a little. Happy for you to have cabbages. I actually like the look of the plant. Well, yeah, so like there's a lot in my life, in my, in here in these choices that is like, you know, plants that I've chosen to like this is my favorite, this is going to be my favorite vegetable because I said so, because it looks really cool and I want to like it, so I'm going to like it at the end. Anyway, I guess I will start putting some of these into some of these sheets, because as much as they are not particularly, they weren't particularly great storage, and it's obviously not a permanent solution, at least it's somewhat organized. I am putting melons and watermelons together. I realize that they are not related, but whatever. What else? Oh, I also got a bunch of radicchio last year that I was gonna do a bunch of like fall radicchio. These are all like really cool, like they look like flowers. My husband hates radicchio with a passion. But on the other hand, food is always, that's the other thing, is that food is always much tastier out of the garden. So there's a lot of things that I don't really, like I'm not a huge fan of eggplants. I really like the plants, so I started growing them, and the truth is, when they're grown out of the garden, they are much tastier. Peppers are like way better. Tomatoes are way better out of the garden. So it is not, yeah. Some of these things, like sometimes I'll get, I have turnips as well. Like I'm never been much for turnips, but everything tastes better out of the garden. So surely they are going to be at least edible. Got some Asian greens, what else do I have? Like bok choy and chijimisai. Yeah, I'm gonna make a page of sorrel because apparently I have a page worth of sorrel. For you. What's all this? Right, okay, so let's at the very least gonna put away some of these extra basil varieties. Nope, that's the sorrel. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I was trying to achieve here. Other than making a mess. Okay, definitely have enough cabbage to make at least one more sheet. Right, so that's my microgreen seeds. Arugula, because I like, why do I buy more packets of arugula when I have microgreen seed for it? What is wrong with me? I love arugula, but yet I can't love it that much. That's not okay. I just get carried away. The seed companies all like write the most wonderful descriptions, like you're buying some kind of magic whatever, like you've never tasted a cucumber like this. They're cucumbers, obviously, but radishes are in, oh, okay. Does somebody have a like way to convince me to like radishes? I plant radishes because I interplant them with carrots because the radishes come up and it helps me to know where I planted the carrots. Because carrots take a long time to come up, so the radishes come up first, and it helps me keep track of where I planted the carrots. And that's a trick that I've been taught. They come up really fast, they're really satisfying, they grow in any weather. But the problem is, I like some winter radishes, like pickled, but I've never been much for eating radish, like fresh radishes. I really liked them as a child, and then my brother bit into one and like bit into a worm, and I've never been able to get over that. And like as an adult, I should be able to get over that. And it's not even that it's not that I eat them and think worms. I just like something about the bite of a radish, like the taste, that like sharpness, even though I like it in nasturtiums, I just can't get over it with radishes. So I've been trying, because it would be helpful, given that I grow radishes anyway, and that they are like the easiest thing on earth to grow. Be helpful to like radishes. And I keep on trying different radishes. So like I have this many radishes because I don't like radishes, because that makes tons of sense. I also have these rat tail radishes that like I don't grow them with the carrots, they're grown for the pods, and I like the pods. More radishes, like, yeah. If anyone has advice on radishes. Radicchio is awesome. I love it. Love it. Radicchio can be very bitter. It can. I don't mind it like mixed with other stuff. Like even when it's bitter. If you have it fresh and you grow it carefully, you can have it be less bitter, like more of a sweet flavor. I eat the leaves from radish, but not found a tasty variety that I like in the UK. Yeah, I tried to do the roasting radishes thing too, and I did not like that. I do like pickled radishes, but look, here's another variety of basil. Yes, I have too many, and I definitely do need to choose some, but like I also sometimes just need to go through these things to remind myself that there's no way that like I really, you know, because I'm still at this point going through like, oh, but I need corn, but wouldn't it be nice to have like new agastache varieties or beets or whatever, and then I'll go through and I'll trip across some other stuff and like, oh, I could get this interesting variety of spinach, and like, yeah, I could, but you know how much it's spinach, first of all. Like, I like spinach, I like baby spinach, and I tolerate spinach in like soups and stuff. I don't like cooked spinach like on its own. Like it's fine in soups if it's just like really sort of blended in, but I don't like the slimy feeling. So, you know, first of all, I'm picky about spinach. Except when it's a baby spinach, and sorry, baby spinach just tastes like baby spinach. Like, can't tell the difference between different kinds of baby spinach. I mean, I can tell the difference between I grew it in my garden and I didn't grow it in my garden, but once it's grown in my garden, it all just tastes like baby spinach. So, throw my baby spinach in. So sometimes I just need to like the reminder of this is how out of control my seed collection is, to just stop myself from adding to it. Because there's no way that I can Like, there's no way that I should add to it. It's just, there's too much. This is too much. I slice radishes thin. You can also put them in water after slicing them. I like the Japanese varieties a lot. Okay, yeah, all right. So I do have, I think, some Asian varieties. So I will try some of those. Yeah. Why do I have giant winter? Oh, it's a cold hardy. Okay, that's why I have it. Although, to be honest, it is the most cold hardy spinach. Like, okay, but all spinach is cold hardy. Like, spinach survives outdoors without any protection in Canada. Like, you don't need to protect spinach. Okay, where was my basil? There's my crazy basil. Thing. More basil. Because I need to have like 3 pages of basil when I eat one kind. I eat one type of basil, but no, I need to have all of these different pages of it. Absurd. 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 Okay, I'm not. These aside, I have cucumbers somewhere in one of these. So these are now all out of alphabetical order too, but that's okay because that's easier to sort than just having everything out everywhere. These peppers, oh look, more radish pages. These are these cabbages, carrots. Cucumber. Let's throw some cucumber in here. Okay, so here is my page of tomatoes. So we can put 1 page of full-size tomatoes, and then I can do page 2 of full-size tomatoes. Oh. Wholly endless collection. Yeah, I mean, some of this is like because I'm just shuffling things around, right? So like you've seen a lot of this before. Like I did opened this bag up before and opened this folder up before. I'm just organizing now, I guess. Trying to figure out, like, sort of in my head where everything is going to go and, like, what I just really don't have room for. Like, in my garden, in my... How many tomato plants? I think I had 30 tomato plants last year. So yeah, so I have too many tomatoes basically. Because I'm gonna want a few of them to be cherry tomatoes and a few of them to be dwarf. But then, like, 30 is a lot, but, and even then, like, even with 30, you know, I was trying to preserve for the winter, and I didn't get enough done. Like, I made a batch of salsa and some, well, oven dried, like I did, like a slow, like a sort of like confit tomatoes. Yeah, okay, but make sure that you get the sheets that haven't the holes in the right place, and then, like, be aware of the size of your seed packets, because if you buy from places like Baker Creek that sell oversized seed packets, you're going to run into a problem. Word to the wise. Okay, and then these are more hot peppers over here. So I can put away another row of hot peppers. Anyway, so it's just a matter of choosing, like, if I'm going to skip something, what am I going to skip? Which is tough, because, like, a lot of these, you know, well, certainly with tomatoes, it's like, well, I really like all of them. I don't know. Should I skip? With peppers, it's just that I'm doing mad science. Jigsaw, I don't know. Maybe I'll give this one away. Hungarian black. Why do I need it from 2 different places? I don't. Bellingrath Gardens is really lovely. Really love that one. And quinoa here. Yeah, I'll just have a squash here and other squash here. Like, I like the idea of having them split up like this. It's just they don't fit in the binder. I don't know where to get a binder that they would fit into. It confuses me. apparently I have even more lettuce. Where are my lettuce sheets? Oh, there's a lettuce sheet. Nope, that's a basil sheet. Where's the lettuce sheet? There's a lettuce sheet. Okay, and it is filled on both sides. Okay. So do I have another lettuce sheet hanging around somewhere? No? Okay, let's make another lettuce sheet. Those are sorrel, that's cabbage. Okay. Fine, another lettuce sheet it is. You can always fold the large packets. Well, yes, I did. That is what I've been doing. The other thing to be aware of is if you have packets like peas. Peas don't work real good. Like beans are sort of borderline. Peas are pretty bad for this. Now I have some huge packets of peas because I also grow peas for pea sprouts. But peas just don't like fitting in here. So yeah, like it's one of these things where it's like I have not found the right solution yet. This is a thing that I've done is like, oh, I should try turnips because I don't like usually buy turnips in the grocery store, but I bet they're going to be tastier in the garden. And then I buy them from one place and then I forgot that I've done it and I do the same thing over again the next year. So I now have two varieties of turnips that are basically identical as far as I can tell. Like one of them's called Tokyo Cross and one of them's called Tokinashi, and I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. Oh gosh, this is like this whole stream is a distraction, Albert. So thank you for joining, and I enjoyed your puns. But yeah, hopefully over time I'll develop like, I mean, I have started to develop, you know, preferences within this, like things that I like more, varieties that I like more that I keep on refilling and that I'm like learning how to save seeds for. So over time, hopefully there will be more of that and I'll have less need for this kind of craziness. Arugula is arugula, but I grow it everywhere and I could just eat it by the handful, so. beans. And I'm going to make a page for okra. Yep. Oh, more lettuce. Where did I hide my lettuce? There's a lettuce. And there's more lettuce. All the lettuces. Okay. All right, so lettuce, lettuce. Okra. Arugula right up front. Turnip. Squash. Peppers. Oh, turnips. Tomato. Tomato. Tomato, peppers, peppers, carrot, veg, peppers. Sweet as rutabaga? Yeah, sweet as rutabaga. I like them well enough, but I haven't been bothered to grow them, which is a interesting comment, and like suddenly I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I should. Right, because I don't have enough things to grow. I'm silly. Spinach, down here, radish, cabbage. Okay, so now we are at cabbage, and I think yeah, I did double up on the, I have two different sheets for cabbage. So I'm gonna join them up, but I do have plenty of cabbage nonetheless. Basil, careful, basil, red beet keel. Melons and mustards and summer squash, and go back here. Here. Peppers, more peppers, more peppers. Get it on there. Oh, more radish. Go in my crazy collection of radishes for someone who doesn't eat radish. Radish can go back here. Kale. And whatever this is. Broccoli. Broccoli, purple peacock. More purple peacock. Okay, and broccoli and collards. So broccoli can go behind basil. And oi. Collards, which I love, can go here. Peppers, peppers. Where peppers go? Melons and mustard. Okay, so that's most of my vegetables sorted. I still do have a little bit left to sort out, but I think that's the bulk of it. The rest is like weird one-offs or really bulky packages or etc. Oh, yeah. Kale and eggplant over here. Ta-da, look at this. Yummy. And then my beloved Persian basil can go into here. I did a lot of seafood before I moved here. It's a lot of lamb and root veg. Veg is nice. Oh, there's a zucchini really back there, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I haven't sorted out. Gotcha. Well, rapini. Let's sort out the rapini, I guess, and I will worry about these later. And these. And these, I think I'm reaching the end of my ability to focus. But, yeah. The question is, should I put okra in my, yeah. So I put third row okra, question mark. Here I have marigolds. What other stuff do I have in that middle row here? Things. Okay, so I'm gonna put, no, I'm not gonna sort that out. Put rapini in. Blah, blah, blah. So rapini, I guess I should probably take a look at what I have in terms of flowers, perennial and annual. So I'm going to call lemon dragonhead, it's a flower, right? It's an annual flower. Yeah, I mean, it makes tea. Maybe I'll put that in my tea garden here. Dragonhead? Lemon winter savory in this front row. Okay, I'm gonna sort out my flowers real quick. Like I also have things like dill that I just toss somewhere. More dill. Marigolds and the eggplant celery. That's it. Come on, Bactonia and yeah, French brocade. So I'm not sure if these will cross. These were interplanted. So I had French marigolds and tangerine gems. So we'll see. They are, I think, different species, but they might still cross. Not sure. But I'm going to put in marigolds, like a whole section of marigolds, and I'm also going to throw in things like this Mexican mint marigold. I think I do have another French marigold packet hiding somewhere. Yeah, there we go. And then, yeah, I have like random, oh, fenugreek. I have random annuals like poppies and rudbeckia. Does poppy even count? I mean, it grows for, I'm growing it for food. Rudbeckia is technically edible, but I'm not gonna eat it. Same with snapdragons. Nobody eats snapdragons. I don't know how to sort things. Don't know how to sort things at all. I have some random other herbs here, like that I'd already bagged up because they were sort of random, like fennel and saltwort, epazote and culantro and summer savory and shiso. Who has, do any of you have experience growing shiso? I've been trying for years and it just doesn't want to take, like it doesn't germinate for me. I just like have my big bag of herbs, I guess, because catnip, although really coriander, lemon dragon head, bog Labrador tea, balm, lemony catnip, pistachio. I'll just throw these all into one big bag of like assorted herbs. Yeah, and then I'll just throw this in here. I think that's about as much patience as I have for this task today. So I think I am wrapping up right about now. Thanks to everyone who joined me for this weird, whatever this was. To watch me, I don't know, puzzle over the, like, my absurd hoard of seeds and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. And I don't know that I really got anywhere with it because I just sort of doodled what my yard looks like, but didn't really, like, I listed some things, but that was like basically what I already knew. So yeah, I'm looking forward to here on the side. I'm going to make an arbor here and another one further back where we're going to grow wisteria and passion flower and stuff. This one up on the deck, actually that's a thing. So this is going to have a whole bunch of really invasive herbs because I used to, all right, so this is what I was kind of hoping to get done today. Not just get all my seeds out and then get confused. I want perennial herbs in here. So this is going to be perennial herbs. So this is my front door. It's like there's a staircase up and then a little patio thing here. So perennial herbs in this little planter. And then I also have some window boxes up here too. So like one here and one over here and whatever. And so the perennial herbs in here, I need things that are gonna be really, really like hold their own or like invasive, like my mints, catnip, oregano. So some of that is currently in planters out front, but because I'm removing all of the like the boxed planters, I want to put them all in here. So if I have a couple of mints and some lemony catnip and oregano and thyme spilling over the side. Sage? Rosemary? Rosemary is an interesting one where rosemary generally is not, I'm in a zone 5B. Rosemary would not survive my winter usually. However, there's a few howevers here. My garden, although I live in a zone 5, my garden is more like a zone 6 because everything is really well protected and elevated and in raised beds. So everything is, so my garden behaves more like a zone 6. And then on top of that, with the house right here, this, if I do it right by the house is a little bit warmer, and then I can get a really hardy variety of rosemary and it should be able to survive. So maybe if I put a rosemary right up in the corner there. Might still get overrun by like oregano, but up in here, I still need to decide what, like I'm gonna have, I've chosen some bushes to put in here, but some of them I'm going to plant over in the back of this area. So I have some shrub cherries. They're like sour sweet cherries. So they're bred by the University of Saskatchewan. They were developed to be cold adapted, so they are sweeter than the sweet cherries, but they also have, like, they're bred from sour cherries, so they apparently taste like sour cherry candy. And so I got one that I was going to plant here, but I think I'm probably going to plant it out in the front. And I might get a second one to plant over in this corner. Which means then, what's it called? I want to get Carolina Allspice. And I'm not sure what I want to put in this one. And I have more planters back here. So I have some extra space. If I move some of my herbs from this over to here and from the front over to here and into the window boxes, then that frees up some space here. So if I put hot peppers in there, do I still want to grow sweet peppers in here? Okay, my issue is my side garden planter is like the best spot for peppers, but I also want to split up hot peppers and sweet peppers, so. And peppers make great decoration in the front because they're so pretty. We used mint to hold back some blackberries and it seemed to work, but now I'm gonna have mint forever. Right, so there's that problem too, which is on this side of the house I have raspberry, 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 raspberry. And they've taken some time to take off because I got them bare root and it's kind of dry back there, like it's difficult to get in there to water. So some of them died, some of them struggled. It's beginning to, like, some of them are beginning to take hold. And so I suspect that this will become a raspberry thicket at some point. And so I do want to plant something here beside the raspberries that'll hold them back. But again, this is my neighbor's yard. Like, my property ends, 3 feet from my house, and then my neighbors have a little like gate thing, and then this is their backyard. And in fact, we've talked to them and they want to enclose this. So like, in order to get to this part of my property, I'm going to have to walk into their backyard, which is fine. Like, that's wonderful. I get along with both neighbors. It's the neighbor on the other side, actually, that's redoing her whole yard. And Ember right now has like we're going to put our property runs back here, and then there's like some weird no man's land back here. We're going to put a doghouse for her there, and we're setting up a run. She currently, like, we let her out the side door and she goes into the neighbor's yard. And they love it. So that's fine. We're going to put her doghouse here. She's probably going to go into the neighbor's yard here. Our yard here is going to be partially enclosed in the neighbor's. Like, the property lines are weird on these 3 properties. They're super weird. Like, the landmarks don't line up where the property is. But nonetheless, like, part of having neighbors who you kind of share property with is trying to be respectful. And so the neighbors on this side are absolutely delighted. Like, yes, of course you can plant your raspberries there. Are you sure that you want raspberries in your backyard? You do realize they're going to run. Don't worry about it. We'll mow them over. But I do want to, do something to help the raspberries from taking over their whole yard. So something deep-rooted, probably. Yeah, we're the ones with the plants that are gonna spread everywhere, for sure. The other thing that's like not really shown on here is the perennials that I've chosen. Like, I really want to make a hummingbird garden. Like, I want to attract hummingbirds. So in here I've got I've got vines that I'm trying to get started everywhere. So like, we've got our backyard is enclosed. I mean, it's further back. It's much further back than this, but like, we have a deck then that's got a fence over here. So I've got planted right here, I've got Trumpet Vine, which is a native vine, but it's very, very, very aggressive, like mint, but it's like mint and raspberries and wild grapes all, put together. Apparently it's like super invasive. It's native. And it's beautiful vine, but it has suckers, and like big beautiful orange flowers. So I have that there. Over here I have Trumpet Honeysuckle, or what's it called? Trumpet Honeysuckle. It looks very similar to the Trumpet Vine, but it's a different plant, unrelated, that I've planted up here, and another Trumpet Vine on here to climb up and over this deck. Over here we're gonna have an American Wisteria, Blue Moon Wisteria, that's gonna go over an arbor here. And then on the other ones, I have passion flower, American passion flower. Which again, passion flower is really cool. It grows passion fruit. And it is native to just south of here. The Maypop variety. But you can get hardy versions that will grow here, and I have no problem with its invasive properties. First of all, because I'm at the edge of its range, so it's not going to be invasive for me. And secondly, because it's native. But the previous owners at our house, they covered everything with like concrete and gravel and pavers. So there was like basically, we had a few cedars, but like basically nothing growing. And I am taking over the whole property. Anywhere that I can shove plants, I do. And luckily, most of my neighbors either think that's great and love it, or at least don't complain about it too much. Oh, I also have spice bush in here. Spice bush. Ooh, and somewhere in this first or second row, somewhere in here, I want to get more sweet fern. Raspberries will jump over everything. Well, raspberries will do two things. So the first thing is they have their vines, and the vines will like lean over and then root again and come back up, but they'll also send out runners through their roots. So to stop the first one, you just trellis them. To stop the second one, you need something with deep roots. Or very, very wide roots. So mint, although then you're just creating a mint problem instead of a raspberry problem. So I'm going to try to avoid that solution, or something with a really long, deep taproot. So I think what I'm going for in that case is like one of the prairie wildflowers that has like really, really, really deep taproots. And just go like do a couple of rows of something really deep rooted, like false indigo or something. But also, our neighbors are awesome, and it's their yard, and their kid can pick raspberries, and they're excited about that. So that's cool. I'll plant some strawberries there for them too. She's pregnant. She's like looking forward to having their yard fenced out. That they have a dog who's about the same size as Ember, who's Ember's best bud. And so we were talking to them. They want to fence this off so that then they'll have a fenced yard, but they also need to repair some fencing on the other sides. We said that we would happily pay for our section. Like we are happy to pay for that. That's fine, as long as I still have access to my garden, I'm good. Over on this side, there's not, like, this side is all open. They just have a raised garden up here, or raised, like a retaining wall. So it's all raised and level with my raised bed here. And so what Zoe wants to do with hers is she wants to do like a perennial border along the edge, or possibly all the way up back here with some native plants, and then back in here she'll do a vegetable garden. And so I'm helping her start some seeds and sharing some of the plants that I have that are ready to be divided. So, like, because I have some native plants that she wants, so she's going to use some of those. And then we'll try to plan the vegetable gardens around each other a little bit to try to allow us to save seeds and also be able to share things. In the community garden, I sort of did it half-assed last year because of COVID. Maybe this year will be better. Haha, that seems unlikely. But I'm gonna get some metal fence posts, and put a line of like trellising along most of it, leaving just a few gaps, possibly with arches. And then trellis my tomatoes up against that, put some shadier stuff on one side, and then most of my like melons and other peppers and whatever over here. Beans, like bush beans and pole beans on the poles too. Trumpet vine here that you can see on pretty much every bush in nature, big gorgeous white flowers, but they don't play nice. Yeah, so these ones are like orange flowers. New varieties of mint in a floating basket for the fish tank. Floating basket for the fish tank. I am confused by that series of statements. But also, I've been on for 3 hours, so I think I really am done now. I will continue working on this, and eventually, if I have something more presentable of a plan, I will share that. Along with, maybe you guys can see the plans for my renovation, which we just started budgeting for. And man, I'd forgotten what an undertaking we'd signed up for. We're like redoing everything. We're redoing our floors. We're redoing 2 washrooms. We're redoing our stairs. We're redoing all of the lighting. We're redoing the walls in the living and dining room and in the basement. We have an outdoor tank. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, we might put some mint in, like we have, we built some, buy again. Yeah, we have some window boxes that I've struggled to figure out what to put in them, but I think the answer is catnip and mint and things that can live with catnip and mint. It's looking amazing, and planning is my jam. Yeah, you're awesome, and I yeah, I think you might be interested in some of the other stuff that we are going to be doing with the house and related workshop. Right now we have a workshop in our living room because, you know, of course, that's where you want your woodworking stuff, is in the living room. Duh. Anyway, yeah, bye-bye.